This is Real Bigfoot Encounters. This week's case is from July of 2012. It details the events of 9 campers and their frightening encounter with Sasquatch, leading to the discovery of a huge stick structure. This is their story. Last summer, a camper and 8 of his friends had a very terrifying weekend camping in the northern Arizona woods. The plan was to camp and target shoot all weekend until the nights turned into strange dealings with an unknown monster lurking in the night. The weekend began in an area near General Crook Trail in the Verde Valley of Payson, Arizona. On the way to the campsite to meet their 2 friends, Carlton Mercer and his passenger encountered a downed tree right in the middle of the trail to the campsite. Since they were in a lifted truck, they managed to get past the tree. However, no car would have made it, according to Carlton. They arrived at camp shortly before dark and set up camp for the night. Around 9 p.m., a pack of wild coyotes approached their site within 50 feet. Although hidden by the tall 4 to 5 foot ferns, the campers knew right where they were. They began to circle the camp, started to howl and became aggressive, and then just like magic, they disappeared into the darkness. The campers returned to the campfire. Shortly after, the campers heard a loud thud coming from behind them. They didn't think much of it at first, but then it happened again. It seemed like something was throwing rocks at them, and not pebbles either. Carlton says that they were at least 12 inches across, almost small boulders. Carlton decided to shine his light up the hill where he believed the rocks were coming from. At the top of the ridge, he could see a dark shape staring directly back at him. He shut off the light, and the rock throwing stopped for the night. The next morning, they noticed a stick structure close to the camp, but they really didn't pay any mind to it. It seemed to be unrelated, and they continued about their plans for the weekend. During the afternoon, some friends had arrived and also had difficulty reaching the campsite. After some target practice, they noticed a bunch of elk on the ridge above. 2 of the campers decided to climb the ridge and discovered the entire herd of elk feeding on wild raspberries. Apparently, they were camped right on the middle of a game trail. Expecting the last of the campers of the group, they headed down the trail to clear the path for the campsite before they arrived. Later that day before dusk, the last of the group arrived and they set up camp. While sitting around the campfire about the same time as the night before, something began throwing rocks at the campsite once again. Now that there were 8 of them, Carlton felt comfortable enough to ask if anyone heard the sounds, and the group agreed it sounded like something was throwing rocks at them. Shortly after that, the coyotes came calling again, only this time they came closer to the camp. So the group put up their dogs and armed themselves to investigate. Yet again the coyotes stopped and vanished into the night. Suddenly, an eerie wind picked up. The campers returned to the fire to warm up, and while sitting around the campfire, they heard something rustling in the bushes. Then another rock came hurling into the campsite. One of the campers scoped the movement and announced that there might be a bear in the bushes. With known aggressive bears in the area, they once more put up their dogs and went to investigate. One of the campers produced a pair of night vision goggles and started heading towards the bear. What happened next set the tone for the rest of the weekend. The night vision goggles revealed a large, hair-covered beast crouching in the darkness, too large to be man nor bear. They passed around the goggles to be sure of what they were seeing, and then agreed to go get the creature. Upon arriving where the Bigfoot was crouched, it was gone, and all of the foliage was trampled, as you could see a large bipedal animal walk through it. While nothing else was at the site, the group returned once more to the campsite. One of the campers snuck off shortly after to have a little fun with the group, but was outed as they returned to the campfire. Carlton had found out that he indeed was the only believer in Bigfoot. But after some discussion, they all agreed that whatever they saw wasn't human nor anything else they had seen before. Then once again, the rocks started being thrown into the campsite, and all the campers were accounted for this time. The creature had circled them as the rocks were coming from behind. After the rocks had stopped throwing, the group finally turned in for the night as it had become silent around the camp for the duration. This is when the discovery of the structure the next morning became apparent. Carlton tells us his thoughts are, whatever built this structure was throwing the rocks at them. Because of poor weather, it just wanted to get back into its shelter. Was it a Sasquatch? Carlton says yes. while the others agree it was not a bear, nor an elk, nor any other known animal. Much like many others, they are yet to say they believe it was Bigfoot. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Real Bigfoot Encounters. I'm Reverend Jeff, and may the Squatch be with you.